Okay, so thank you, Al, so much for coming on to one of my first episodes for it's going to be called like CEO Chats because I know that you're
Nice.
CEO and you run your own business and you're doing amazing. I've been watching you for a couple of years kind of grow into your own sort of thing, and I want you to tell people what it is, how you got there, all that.
Yeah. So real quick, let me grab some. But I'm definitely not wearing anything, even though I should be. Right. So the brand is called AS3 Athletics. I just happen to have a backpack laying around. So the brand is called AS3 Athletics. It is a sports performance slash speed and agility business, as well as personal training. But we primarily deal with athletes of all ages and all backgrounds. Right now, the bread and butter is really lacrosse, football, basketball, and a little bit of soccer too. But again, we touch on everything. I have an athlete that's as young as 9 who's a figure skater, and I have an athlete, because we're all athletes in some way, shape, or form, as old as 63. And everybody gets trained, according to them. And we personalize the workouts, and we build it from there. But we are a one-stop shop, so to speak. If you're an athlete and you want to get better and you want to perform, you need AS3 Athletics. That's what you need.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. It sounds like you're really
Yeah.
passionate about what you do, and it's more than just a brand for you. It sounds like I get lifestyle vibes. Would you say
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
adequate?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. I've this makes 7 years. September makes 7 years that I've been doing this now. And I'll be 27 in September. So I've been doing this for a little while. And that's how I've been able to get it to this point. That's kind of what keeps me going, is the passion behind it. I think that's with any great thing, right? Like, you need passion, and you need that exuberance to keep going, and to get through the peaks and valleys of what it is to own your own business and do it alone. So that's definitely something that keeps me going. Let alone that I'm trying to leave a legacy here, right? Hopefully that's what a lot of us are doing it for, in our own respective businesses. I want to be able to give something to my kids, and then their kids, and have the building with the logo on it, 10,000 square foot warehouse, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on and on. But these are the things that drive me and keep me going. And yeah, just a lot of hard work. Can I
That's,
curse in this podcast? So, and I don't. Can I curse in this
honestly,
podcast?
I
Because
don't
I'm holding back right now. I'm a super sailor. All right.
really. I never got that from
Yes.
you. Like, you've always been
It's
such a gentleman ever since we known each other since we were kids. Like, for those of you who might not know, me and Al know each other through a mutual friend
way
in
back.
high school, like
Yeah.
maybe over 10 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
It's
either
nuts.
way, I've been able to see you grow into the man that you are today. And one of the things that I actually like about you is that you care about your clients. And I
Very much so.
see, you put in that extra effort into following up with people and knowing their situations maybe outside of athletics, and just like getting close to each and every person that you touch. You could really see them care for you too. So how would you say that you grasp that? Because I feel like that's what so many people are missing.
First and foremost, I'm being myself, right? I have not tried to portray anything that isn't Al Smith. That takes too much energy, right? And I feel like that starts to steer what you ultimately may want to grow in a different direction. And then you got to kind of stick with it, right? Because then that's all people know. So that's first, right? I've only ever been myself. Second is, similar to what you touched on, is take the time to get to know people, right? Take the time to, get to, what piques their interest, what maybe, gets under their skin a little bit. And I'm talking from the trainer perspective, right? As it pertains to clients, and getting people to trust you to continually, pay you and support you in that matter too. And you help them in the same breath. But, that's really what it is. They got to be able to trust you, and you have to build that rapport. And that takes time. It doesn't happen in the first session, doesn't happen in the initial meet and greet. It may take a month's time, right? But as long as they can feel your passion, and they can feel, that, and also that what you're doing, right? That matters. But they feel your passion. You can get a boatload of clients in a very short amount of time. For those aspiring trainers out there, you can do that. But you have to get people to believe in you first and foremost, and your service, right? And then on top of that, your service has to be top notch.
Yeah.
And like that's what follows. It's
Yeah.
it's being personable, and then the grade A service has to follow that. That personality that you hopefully you have.
Yeah.
And that, if
Absolutely.
you're asking me now, that's something that I've been doing. And it
I see
started.
it, dude. Like you really care about your kids. I see it. And I'm like, wow. And
That's why I was late getting on the meeting. I was posting about him. I was late getting on the meeting. I was posting about somebody on Instagram 2 seconds before we got on.
That's awesome. I was kind of late too because I was just trying to clean around. We're actually in my bedroom right now.
Good.
My cousin's like rapping in the living room, and I was like, all right, I need to get this done today. I'm just really trying to share with other people what I've seen, and
I appreciate that.
Of course. And sometimes we don't get as personal as we can online. I know I don't. Like you can only see like really, really surface level of me. And that's not just because like
Same.
I'm trying to be that way. It's just like I'm always on the move or trying to do something for my family or my friends. So I kind of just wanted to make it like this thing that people can look at and be like, okay, these are real conversations. These are real people really trying to make something of ourselves. I'm really excited actually. Okay. So Monday I have this Black designer in Brooklyn, and he actually has like this whole, it's called Savant Studios. And he has this whole like collection of artists and like Black history, but the quality level is like here. That's
fire. And he's based out of Brooklyn.
Yeah. And
that's fire.
Yeah, his whole story is just so amazing. And like he didn't actually want to take the interview with me until I said like the reason I'm doing it is because of educating my community. Like he was like, well, who is this girl? What is she about? Like he cared about his image so much that it like really took that additional.
That's what's up though. Respect. Yeah, respect. I love it. He's not gonna put his stuff on the line for nobody.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm just really excited about the direction that I'm going in, and just like re-educating the people that may have like lost a beat, like what you have or like what I may have. Like sometimes people just need that additional push of like passion for something and seeing themselves, like people their age trying to do it, and people that they may admire and stuff like that. So I think you put everything on the table. This was really good.
I try and be, or I try to. And, to that point that you just made, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine. I swear to God, just last night. So it's funny that you bring this up in the way that you do. Kind of about, mental programming, right? Like for yourself and what it takes in order for not just to men, right? But you can generalize it, right? What you need to do and how you need to program yourself and what you need to do on a daily basis in order to get to, that end goal. And it starts with first and foremost believing that you can actually accomplish that, right? And so that's how I'm bringing it back full circle. So many people our age, since you're talking about our peers, I feel like I'm even witnessing some of them start to give up now, right? And so when you take two individuals like myself, side note for everybody out there, Nicole's birthday is the day before mine, so we're kind of like the same person. Most people don't know that shit. Virgo power, baby. September all the way.
Yeah,
I do remember. She's the 18th. I'm the 19th. Very methodical.
I'm the
20th. Again, right? You got to first believe.
My birthday is the 20th.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
All this time I've been thinking it's the 18th. I literally when I told her that I was taking this meeting, I was like, oh yeah, her birthday's the day before me. All right, forget that, people. I messed that up.
20th.
I think I'm a bad friend. The day after, not before. It's the day after. Okay.
Yeah.
I was close.
So you're older.
But I am. I am. Don't forget that. Yeah, I am.
Look at that.
I am. Right. But again, you have to be able to first believe that you can attain the goal. And I feel like a lot of people our age now are starting to give up on themselves, and it hurts me. And so that's why that was another reason, why I was like, yeah, I gotta do this. This podcast, and especially when you start to list the reasons why, even you wanted to create it. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Why would I not help give extra people, give people that extra push that they may or may not need. And everybody, forget what they say. Everybody needs it, because everybody has their moments of I'm not that motivated, or life gets in the way. I mean, COVID happened, right? That kind of knocked everybody off their rocker a little bit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so, people need that extra push. People need that
Yeah.
extra push.
No, you're 100% right. Like, I know so many friends who went into just a really deep depression to the point where they wanted to like off
Yeah.
themselves, and even myself, like I definitely got really low after, everything that was happening with BLM and George Floyd,
Right.
and
Right.
just seeing that over and over and over and over again. I was just like, oh my God. It
was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I took that, all of it really, and I kind of put it on a shelf, right? Good or bad, I kind of put it on a shelf, right? And I've had my moments where I've expressed how I feel about the whole thing. And I feel like we'd have to have another podcast for this subject entirely.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I took that time during the COVID summer, bringing it back to, our CEO subject, and I took that time to adapt my business, right? So sports performance, you can kind of do it anywhere, right? As long as you have a space to do functional movement, I'll say, to keep it simple, right? You can do sports performance training. So we were outside, thankfully, right? With everywhere shutting down, gyms closing, we never really stopped, through social distancing. I was able to still continue, you know, the brand, because I'm not really I don't have to be on top of an athlete or a client in order to instruct or direct. I can demonstrate from 6 feet away, and you can get the gist, and I can explain, and we can, our sessions can continue. And I'll be damned, my business grew during the COVID summer. And I'm super blessed and super fortunate that I can say that, because not a lot of people, specifically trainers, they can't say that, and the ball's just, it's kept rolling ever since. And so for those people out there that want to be trainers, and in this hybrid environment now where everything kind of goes, right, in-person training, Zoom calls, you name it, everything kind of goes, you have to be able to adapt. I spent $3,000, and I'm in my garage right now. I spent $3,000 and I freaking gutted this thing out, put mats all over the place, bought a bunch of weights when you couldn't find weights during COVID. And I did what I had to do in order to bring my business in. And everybody loved it. And so now the garage is a thing, you know what I mean? And so you have to be able to adapt and keep the ball rolling so that you can get to that end goal where we
Yes.
talked about in the beginning.
Yes.
And people lose sight along the way.
You're literally, you said we were twins, and that's exactly what I did, like in a different way. I swear. I was like, first of all, at first I was freaking out, but I'm such like a control freak. I feel like sometimes I'm like, no, but I have to make sure there's plan A, B, C. And
right.
So
the freak out lasts very, very short.
Yeah. No, seriously. It's just like you give yourself a moment, and then you just keep pushing, move on, continue about your day. And so I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to use this time to study and get my brokerage. And then I opened up a construction company and got like licensed, insured. And now I'm getting like contracts from like Philly, like for commercial stuff. I can't handle the workload because I don't have enough guys. But
I love it. That's a great problem to have, though.
Yeah.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
That's like me. I can't take every client because I'm one dude. Shout out to everybody out there. Listen, you're looking for a job, I'll be hiring trainers over the summer. AS3 Athletics. You can reach out to me on Instagram. Plugging it up.
You just might get a bunch of applications.
I'm taking interns. You can send all applications to as3athletics@gmail.com. I'm taking interns. So if you're like a high school senior and you're interested, I can take you, or a college student, I can take you. Or if you're just an aspiring trainer. You don't necessarily need to be NASM certified or A certified. You don't necessarily need to do that right away to be an intern. That's something that we can talk about. It helps, being a former athlete helps. Having some sort of, baseline education helps, but it's not necessary. And the reason I say this, because I didn't start off with that shit. I started off with just being a 13-year track and field athlete, among other sports, but and I just brought my applied knowledge that I did for so long to the game. And then through that, continued education, learning on the go, trial and error, You know, I even spent time at a chiropractic physical therapy practice for a little bit, just so that I could kind of sneak onto the floor, the training floor again, even though I wasn't a certified physical therapist, just so I can learn a few things. And I did that for about 3 months. Like you gotta find a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
I'm seriously
And
impressed. Like, I didn't know that you were
yeah,
doing all of that, but I could just feel the energy that you had for it. And I was like, you know, I have to get you on this chat. I have to talk to you for a second and we could just chop it
I'm
up
really happy that you did.
and hopefully post it. I'm gonna send this to you so you could watch it first and see how it
For
went. But
sure, I would love to.
when you give me the okay, I'll post it. If you want me to cut anything out, I will. So, but thank you so
Yeah.
much for just
No, thank you.
of
Thank you.
course.
This is awesome. And real quick before we wrap it up, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. I'm so
Aw.
proud of you. It's ridiculous. No, real shit, because you know, you start, I like, you know, you say you've been paying attention to me, I've been paying attention to you too. And that's what's cool about this whole thing. Cause it's like, yeah, you see me, I'm seeing you too. And you know, you
Awesome.
started off with, you know, just getting a real estate license, right? And I might be messing up the story a little bit, but you start off with just getting a real, and then, you know, I got one property, all right, I got two. Next thing I know, you were on, what was that, NBC you were on or something
Yeah.
like that? Or Good
Yeah.
Morning, it was something crazy. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm flipping houses in South Jersey. Now I'm in Philly. Boom, boom. Now I got a podcast. Yo, keep climbing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Don't
No,
stop.
that
Don't
feels
stop.
really good because when you're in it, you don't think about like, okay, how far you've come, just like mentally, physically, emotionally, like everything that comes with trying to climb, right? So like so many people try to climb but only get so far because they can only
Right,
handle so much. And
right.
but when you're passionate about something, when you actually want to be an example for other people and you have like I don't know, you have like a purpose. It's just there's no other
I,
thing than to climb. I don't know.
I always say, but not always. I've been saying it maybe recently in the last year, right? It's like I'm not in control. And people say, what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean you're not in control? I promise you, I'm not in control. There's like it's like some kind of light that I really can't see that's just kind of guiding me along.
Mm,
And I trust real deep in my gut. I trust that everything's going to work itself out,
yeah.
because I really feel, you know what I'm saying? Like there's when you start to walk a certain path, and then, and I'm talking to everybody out there, right? I'm generalizing. When you start to walk a certain path and then you start to get not a few, but a bunch of affirmations from all different directions, from all different kinds of signs, and it keeps
Mhm.
pointing back to keep walking on the path that you're walking on. It's a freaky feeling, but it feels good at the same time. And you gotta trust that shit and don't let little things deter you from the path that you're already walking on.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild,
Yeah.
but you gotta really trust it. And people don't trust it. People let other people's perceptions dictate where they go.
Mhm.
Parents, friends, family, fuck it, you name it, right? You like a horse, right? Kentucky Derby, you gotta put the blinders on. You just gotta go. All that other shit don't matter.
Yo, you're speaking to me right now because I could talk to you all night, but
I love it.
literally,
This the kind of shit that gets me on. Like, you know what I mean? This is how I talk in the session.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
this is
wow.
mental programming. This is it.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, so this is even really deep, and I'm so glad we got here. But I went to Atlanta recently to visit my dad's side of the family, his sister. I just woke up to something where I was like, the fact that I don't know where my sister is, and she's like still
Mm-hmm.
out there, like the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard stories about my dad when he was a kid. I was like, all these
Right.
things that are missing, and they're important, you know?
Right.
And I just started like building like those blocks that you need to become like, I guess, a more whole person and understanding.
Right.
But,
Right.
and so I went to Atlanta and I went on a hike. I forget what the park was called, but it was like rapids. And I was
Okay.
walking on the side of the rapids and I like asked God, I was like, if I'm on the right path, like show me a butterfly. And so I'm on the edge and there's literally a swarm of butterflies on the ground and I don't step on them. And they just come up at me while
Get
I'm in
out.
Atlanta and like spin around me and just fly off into like the
See?
rapids.
And shit like that is why I wear Panda Hamster around my neck. Shit like that is why I always got an evil eye around me, because energy is real.
Yeah,
Manifestation is real.
I believe. Yeah.
And I'm glad you shared that, because that falls in line with everything we've been saying. That's awesome. That was a legitimate sign. Keep going.
Yeah. So we have so
So
much more
people,
to talk about,
for
but
sure.
I want people to want more. And like in the comments, like was rocking with this whole conversation and asked for us to do this again. So thank
That's
you
a fact.
so much for taking the time. I think the conversation got better as we went along, and
Agreed. Yeah.
I'll definitely talk to you later. Okay.
For sure. For sure. Thank you, Nicole.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed that episode that I just dropped called CEO Chats. And if you liked that episode and if you want to reach out to Coach Al, his website is as3athletics.com.